Hey folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So last week we were working on Steve and working on putting some patch panels down on the lower part of the floor next to the rockers and getting that stuff sorted out, welded in, ready to go. This week, well, you know, I said last week, I'm not sure what this week's video is going to be about, but getting ready to head down to the Gulf Coast for Cruisin the Coast, and we were taking Big John. So we got Big John, just kind of going through doing last minute checks. I actually should already be on the road. So there was a couple things I forgot to do like throughout the week that kind of hit me all last night that I had to take care of this morning. So got all that stuff done. It's like 11:30 or so. Like I said, I was trying to be on the road by now, but yeah, not happening. One thing I noticed last night, drove Big John to the homecoming game for Jackson's foosball team, and it was surging a little bit, and I've been wondering about that fuel pump I've got on this truck. I've got just a little external clicky-clack cheapo fuel pump that's been running this truck for like 5 years, 4 years, something like that. I think I bought it off of Amazon for like 40 bucks. I have definitely got all the life that thing has to give. But yeah, it seems to be a little weak. Like I said, last night when I was driving home, I was noticing some surging at low speeds. So, I'm thinking that fuel pump's probably on its way out. You know, yay, good times, more fuel pumps. So I don't have another fuel pump sitting around the shop except for the one that came out of Steve, which is, I think it's a Holly Blue. I think it's a Holly Blue pump. Where does this go? Maybe it's a red. Yeah, it's a red. So a little Holly red pump. We got that guy. It's there. Might as well use it. I was going to use it on Little John, which is right there. But I think I'll just buy another one. Whatever. It's only money, right? So I've got to get that done this morning. And then we finally got rain, so the grass is growing, and I've got to get that knocked down really quick before I hit the road, headed down towards Mobile. So, all right, I guess I'm gonna get in here and get started on Big John, getting this guy up in the air, and see about this old pump and figure out, one, if the wiring supports it, and two, how it's all set up, because honestly I don't remember. I've slept since then. So, all right, I'll catch up with y'all up underneath the truck. So here we are under Big John. There is my fuel pump. So that little clicky clack, I don't remember the brand, maybe Mr. Gasket, something like that. But I've been running that guy for 4 or 5 years now, and it's been doing fine. The reason why it's probably lived so long is because it's behind this piece of heat shield, and it's got plenty of air around it so it doesn't get hot and cook itself. That's usually the death of these guys. But while I was kind of looking at the line, just making sure, because I got a rubber line feeding over, I went and pushed up on it. Let's see if I can get a little tighter in here. She's got a leak. It's got a little leak right there. Now, I've already squeezed on this a couple times, so it's not as much fuel in the line as there was, but that was coming out at a really, really rapid pace. So I think just for time's sake, and I know I'm kind of risking it here, but just for time's sake, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this line back and around this neighborhood. I'm going to get a fresh clamp, just in case that clamp's, you know, got a barb in it or something, and that's what punctured the line. But get a fresh clamp, cut this line back to some fresh, slide her up on there, clamp it down, good to go. So I will take that Holly pump with me, just in case this one decides to fail, and I'll grab in a little gas can and some fuel line, and just kind of wire up a temp fuel system if I need to. That way, if it breaks down on the side of the road or something, I'm not climbing up underneath it on the side of the road, because, you know, it's dangerous. So I can just get under the hood, set up a little temp fuel system, get it to the next exit, and then, you know, fix it there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. That should be fine. I finally found my little plastic, where you at? There you are. Finally found my little plastic hose clamp set. These things are friggin' handy. They're just little plastic clamps. You just squeeze it down, you run this guy down to hold it tight, and you can clamp off your hoses to where, like, especially if you're doing a fuel line or something like that, you don't have, you know, fuel pouring back out at you and going down your arm and getting in your face and your mouth and all that stuff. But I think these are, what are these, Duratec? I got them off of Amazon. If I can remember, I'll throw a link down in the description. But yeah, these things are great, man. They got varying sizes. They're great for heater hoses, fuel lines. I don't know if they're big enough to do radiator hoses. I'm pretty sure they're not. But who knows? Maybe they sell something like that. But yeah, these things are fantastic. And they were not very expensive. So you just clip them on there and you run your clamp down. Boom, it's clamped off. The only thing I got to worry about coming out is what's in this little area, which probably isn't much. I probably should have clamped that back a little further. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Yep, yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Now I smell like gas. That's all right. All right, so we're gonna clip. We're gonna clip about yay much off. Yeah, hopefully I've got enough slack. I don't know if I have enough slack. Holy shit. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Is that zip tied somewhere? Oh, that's fun. Oh yeah, she's zip tied. Good. Why do things fall where you can barely get to them? Oh, that's probably part of the problem. That's a really, that needs a bigger barb on it. That's where the problem is. The barb's too small. Well, shit. So that's probably a 3/8 barb. Or a quarter barb. I bet that's a quarter barb and that's a 3/8 line. Or a 3/8 and a 5/16. Damn it, man. Alright, well, let me go see what I got for barbs. Ugh. Alright, so searching through my entire stockpile, I did not find what I was, what I need. So I had to run to the parts house real quick. Thankfully they had it. So, in case anybody was wondering, that's a 1/4 inch that's up there, and it needs to be a 3/8. So we'll pull this turkey off. And we'll put on the right size. And everything should be hunky-dory after that. Oh yeah, that's the fit we're looking for. Nice and tight. Good and tight. And since I had to clip my zip ties, I'll go ahead and zip tie this guy. I don't know. He may be all right, just kind of flopping around right there. Yeah, we'll zip tie him up. Just to make sure he don't go nowhere he ain't supposed to. Better be safe than sorry. There. All right, now we'll undo that. I'm gonna go turn the key on and we'll verify that we're not leaking. Yeah, no leaks, and it's quieter. Who would have thought? It's able to keep pressure on the line so it's not sucking air. Fantastic. All right, well, we're gonna call that good. Let me shut the ignition off so I don't burn that pump up. Man, that took a lot longer than I anticipated. And luckily O'Reilly's in town had that little barb, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Like I said, I'm gonna take that Holly pump with me, and just a little jug for gas, and or with gas, and some extra fuel line and stuff like that, just in case. Just in case it does fail, then I can at least limp off the road somewhere if need be. So really the only thing left to do is pack up all my crap. I'm just gonna skip out on the grass cutting because it's almost 2 o'clock, and I'm gonna be getting there after dark, and I don't want to get there too late for mom and dad's sake. But all that's really left is checking the trans fluid, packing up some tools, and packing up my clothes. I'm going to skip out on cutting the grass. That's an hour plus job that I just don't have time for today. I'll leave that to Jackson, and hopefully he'll get it done. But so let me get my stuff packed up. Just a few more tools, some fluids, just some basic, just in case stuff, because I am running this one solo. I don't have a chase vehicle or a buddy riding with or anything like that. So if something happens, it's you know, I gotta fix it. But I don't anticipate anything. Big John's a solid truck. Like I said, everything's either been rebuilt or replaced, minus the transmission, but it's not giving any signs of any troubles. Where's some wood? There we go. So let me pack up my ridiculous amount of tools because I'm definitely going over prepared. Thank you, Boy Scouts. But definitely going to go over prepared, but I'd rather have it not need it than need it not have it. So I'm definitely taking more than what I need, but yeah, we'll make it work. So anyways, I guess I'll holler at y'all guys when I'm on the road. All right, we're on the road, onward and southward. Didn't make it that far. I live, I don't know, 10 miles, I think, around about 10 miles from the interstate. And yeah, that short little drive, Big John started getting hot. Didn't get hot. It got up to about 200 degrees on the old T-stat down there, and I was running 60. It's 55 mile an hour area, you know. So I was running 60 pretty much. Not much faster than that. So 60 mile an hour for about 10 miles, and this thing went from stone cold to around about 200 mile an hour. Yeah, like this would do that. About 200 degrees in a span of about 10 miles. Now granted, it's a warm day. It's like 85, 86 degrees, but that's traveling at highway speeds. So that brings up a couple questions. One, what's this guy gonna do running highway speeds for 6 to 8 hours? Two, what's this guy gonna do whenever I'm stuck in bumper to bumper traffic down there at Cruisin the Coast? Yeah, I can answer that. It's gonna overheat. It's gonna boil over. It's gonna be not a good time. So I've got a few other things I'm wanting to do while I'm down there besides Cruisin the Coast. So in the interest of being able to make it there actually make it and be able to drive around there and do things that I want to do while I'm there, I'm throwing all my crap in the daily, and we're gonna take the daily down there. A couple of good things. One, it gets almost twice the amount of fuel economy this guy gets. Two, it's got air conditioning. And three, cruise control. Hey. Now this one was going to be borderline getting in because they say 89 is the cutoff and Big John is a 90. That's a 98. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to squeeze that in. But I know I'm supposed to bring like registration and insurance and all that stuff for the truck, which I registered, which is Steve, which is a 1980. So I'm still going to take my registration and my insurance. And we may stretch the truth a little bit and, you know, get my information for Steve, but drive the daily. I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. But back of the house, moving everything over. I don't need to take tools. The daily's solid. I'm not really worried about it. But I do have to move all my bags and my laptop and my recording stuff. And yeah, all that crap. So I've got to get all that moved over, and let me dig out my insurance and my registration for Steve, and finally get on the road. Yeah. All right. I will catch up with y'all guys a little bit later once I'm actually on the road and maybe an hour or two down the road from here. So we'll talk here in just a little bit. All right. I am officially about an hour from the house on the road. Had to make a little pit stop at Buc-ee's. Of course, you know, road trip food. I didn't really need gas, but I did need some of their habanero, what are those things? White cheddar habanero puffs or whatever. Freaking delicious. And of course some beaver nuggets. So little pit stop here, went ahead and topped off. Didn't really, you know, really didn't need it, but you know, went ahead and did it. So I think I've only got about 5-ish hours to go, and the sun will be down in, I don't know, about an hour. The sun will be down. So most of my drive is going to be at night. So all right, I'm gonna get back on the road, and we will see y'all guys in Mobile. All right, finally made it. It is, I don't know, 11, a little after 11 o'clock. Long day working on the truck and driving. So the daily, if you can even see it, did really well. Pretty good. So I'm gonna go get a shower and get to bed because there's a lot of fun-filled activities ahead of us. So we'll catch up here in a little bit. All right, Sunday afternoon sometime. It's well after lunchtime. Not a whole lot going on today. We kind of just hung out, catching up with the folks. You know, got in late last night, so, you know, spent an hour, maybe two, chit-chatting with Dad and Todd and, you know, my mom. And sitting there hanging out, having a good time. Eventually got a shower, went to bed, and then got up this morning, just kind of been putzing around. No, not doing a whole lot. But not a whole lot going on today as far as the Cruisin the Coast stuff. There are a couple of cruise ins going on about an hour and a half to 2 hours away. But it keeps wanting to rain on us, and it's just, and I just drove, you know, like 6.5, 7 hours yesterday. So I'm really not feeling like driving anywhere today. But anyways, not a ton of content to go into this episode. I know last week I was joking about, you know, maybe it was working on Big John, getting him ready for the road, which we did. And then, or maybe it's going to be a half hour of me staring at a wall. Trying to avoid that, so let's not do that. But right now I'm standing in my dad's shop that he is in the process of building. Nothing fancy, just a shop being converted out of like a carport that was already on site whenever they bought their house. So right now he's finished getting it you know, dried in basically. This part from here up was already here, and this part he added. Then added in this front with a nice little roll-up door, little man door. And he's working on finishing up the rest of it. It's got a little window in the back there, so you can get a little draw, you know, some breeze drawing through here. And then he's got a giant stack. Don't look over here. He's got a giant stack of insulation that's going to go up on the walls, and he's going to do spray insulation up on the ceiling. It's going to be a pretty nice little shop once he's done doing everything he needs to do to make it into a pretty nice shop. So the reason why Dad's putting the shop together is, well, so he can build him a little hot rod. He's wanted to build a nice little coupe for a long time. And I remember when I was younger, he had bought a 1940 Chevy business coupe, and had drug home a Nova and was doing a subframe swap or something. I don't know, because I was young and didn't care about any of that stuff at that point in time. Except it was cool. That was the only thing I knew. But I know he had that way back in the day, and you know, as things happen, projects tend to get pushed aside and then they get sold and gone. But apparently he's had his eye out for one of these for a while, and found this one, I think it was about 1.5 years ago, something like that. Picked this thing up out of Colorado. He was actually looking at like 2 or 3 other ones, but this one seemed to be the better buy. So this is what he ended up going with. But it ticked most of the boxes, not all of them, but it ticked most of the boxes. But this thing has a really wild little story to it. We've seen some conflicting info on what the seller was telling us versus what we're actually seeing with the car. But we'll just go by what the seller was telling us, because that's most of the info that we got on this thing. The rest of it we're just kind of piecemealing together as we can kind of figure out what's going on here. But apparently this guy's uncle was the second owner, maybe third owner, second or third owner of this car. And we'll show it here in a minute. But he was second or third owner of this thing. Parked it sometime, he said 78. He said 1978 is when he parked this thing to start tearing it down, to get ready to rebuild it and hot rod it and make it a really cool, you know, custom little hot rod. And apparently he died in like 82. So the guy's uncle died in 82. His aunt kept the car for quite some time. And I guess she was selling the house. It was stored inside in a basement. And she kept it for some time, and then she was selling the house or something like that. And so he ended up getting the car, and he actually owns a hot rod shop. So he kept it inside his shop for a while. And I guess customer demand got to be a little bit tall for him. He needed some inside storage for customer cars. So he moved this guy outside about 2 years before my dad bought it. So it sat pretty much inside, untouched, since basically 1978, minus 2 years. It's nuts. So well, we'll just show you the car. So what we got here is a 1939 Pontiac Coupe. It's, I'm thinking, one of the lower model trim models, not the deluxe, according to what my dad was telling me. I think the deluxe had some extra chrome trim and accoutrements to it. Yeah, this is a 39 Pontiac Coupe, which is a 1 year only front end. He actually has both of these grills, the outside grill pieces. This one though is broken, missing some parts. Kind of like a Waffle House waitress. It's missing some teeth. So it's got them summer teeth. Some are here, some are there. But this is a replacement piece that he picked up. And then this is the one that he has. So he picked up this replacement, but of course it's got one piece missing off of it, and it seems like it's made out of like pot metal or cast iron, something like that. So we're not sure. You know, I can weld sheet metal. I won't say well, but I can at least do it, and it sticks. But I'm not a welder in the sense of, you know, yeah, we can you know, burn that in and do it. I'm sure you can. I just don't know. I'll have to talk to one of my buddies. He's a welder. He could probably be like, oh yeah, we could totally do that. But anyways, so he does have the grills for this, but this car is pretty complete, and it's also very, very rust free and very, very straight. This is nuts. We were walking all around this thing. We probably spent 2 hours out here earlier, just kind of, you know, he was showing me his car and I'm looking at it going, this is cool. This is, oh wow, there, typical stuff. So I'm like pouring over this thing, looking for your standard, your standard rust and rot stuff. Typically down here in like your windshield frame, it's usually rotted all to pieces. It's solid. It's just got some surface rust. It ain't even got pits. It's just surface rust. So that's surprising. That glass is actually sitting right there in the passenger seat. Cool, really cool part right there. I dig the little gutter over the vent window. But yeah, typically your drip rail, usually these things are just holding on for dear life, but this thing's solid. There ain't a lick of rust down in it. A lot of times way down low in the quarter panel, right in here, and this thing is just, I mean, it ain't soft at all. It is nice and solid. And I mean, just look. There might be a couple little dings here and there, but this thing is straight. I mean, super straight. It's awesome. But if we move into the interior, it's definitely, it's definitely tired. It needs a few things, but we've got, trying to light this stuff because the lighting isn't the best in here, but it looks like maybe alligator pattern for the armrest in there. A little bit of like a dark blue, maybe it was black at one time, and then more alligator down there. But you got the cranks, windows, still window. That one doesn't appear to do anything, so that regulator may be broke. But yeah, interior wise, it's all here. I mean, we've got panels, a little speaker right there. We've got a headliner. We got seats that are, yeah, they're okay. It's got some carpet. It does miss on the steering column, but Dad does have a replacement for it. It's also missing the instrument cluster and a few pieces and parts here in the dash. But I mean, it's pretty solid. It's got a lot of good pieces and parts in here. There is a little bit, hang on, let me put my phone away. There is a little bit of rust in the carpet, underneath the carpet. I don't know exactly how bad, but there's some pitting. There's a couple little rot spots, like right there. It's got a little rot. So a little bit in the floor. There's a little bit right here in the rocker. I'm interested to see what it looks like with this seat out and behind this panel and see what's back there. That's a great spot for dirt and mud and crap just to sit, and if it gets wet, it's going to stay wet. So it's a really solid car. And of course, these old cars with these hinges that are built like freaking tank hinges, it just closes solid. But yeah, everything's here. You've got the fenders, they're not all eat up. Looks like there's a little bubble right there. Got a little surface rust right in here. Previous owner Frenched in the tail lights. That looks to be a pretty good job. It's got a little surface rust going on in there. There's a little bit of rot back here in this little compartment right behind the trunk floor. I would imagine there's probably going to be a little bit of rust in the floor of the trunk, just because that's just the nature of these things. But as you can tell, there's a couple parts back here that are in the way of digging into it. But yeah, we got like an Auga horn, a couple extra spare pieces and parts. Set of auto light spark plugs, old radio, battery cables, some oil filters, brake pads, see a distributor cap, a couple little tube barrel carburetors over here, old Colorado tag. This is, I'll have to pull my phone back out because it's dark. But this is an old air conditioning system that we figure is probably from the 70s, maybe the 80s. Power steering pump, good old flexi hose. Mortske Repair loves those. We got the original radiator and an AC condenser. You got your heater box. But yeah, it's got a lot of pieces and parts. The deck lid is solid, straight, no rot and rust coming up around the back window. I mean, as far as rust goes, there's a little surface and a couple areas of rot, but nothing to really be concerned about. You know, I hadn't pulled the carpet over here on the passenger side, but I would expect it's probably the same. Probably gonna have to put some floor panels in it, but these old floors like this, they're real easy because they're just flat basically. May have to do a little trans tunnel or something, but yeah, these are easy little floor panels. He does have the running boards. They're just both sitting over here. They do have a little rot in them, but that's to be expected on your running boards. But yeah, just solid car. Now, moving on up underneath the hood. Yeah, like I said, this thing's been parked allegedly since 1978. We have a 327. We ran the numbers on it. 327. We looked the heads up, but I can't remember what the heads were. They weren't anything fancy. Maybe they were power pack heads or something like that. They weren't anything great, but 327, I think. And it's got a power glide transmission behind it. It still has the plugs in it. It's, you know, taped up over the thermostat. The distributor is a point style distributor. It had a bag over it. I ended up pulling that off just a few minutes ago because well, the bag's been on there so long it was disintegrating. So I was like, let's just get this out of here. But yeah, it's got a point style distributor. We don't have a coil, but yeah, plugs have still been in it. The exhaust, there is none, so it's just straight dump. There is still a starter hooked up, and we do have a carburetor. I didn't look to see if this carburetor is free. The carburetor is free. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Been joking with Dad ever since I got down here. I'm like, we need to pull the plugs, dump a little PB blaster down the cylinders, and let it sit for a little bit, and let's see if we can't get it rolled over. And we'll find a cap and some wires. And he's like, I've got a battery. All we need is just a little squirt bottle of some gas, and see if this thing fires up. I really want to make this run. I don't know. Do y'all guys want to see? Y'all want to see if I can make this thing run? Drop a comment down below, and if I got enough comments of people saying hell yeah, then yeah, we'll give her a shot and see if we can't make it run. If it's not locked up, we hadn't even tried to roll the motor over. I did pull the dipstick. There wasn't any oil on it. Just a little dab of oil on the tip of it, just the tip. But so we'd have to put a little bit of oil in it. But yeah, drop me some comments if y'all guys want to see it, and I'll try to fit that in before I head back home in about a week. We'll see if we can't fit that in with all the other activities that are going on. You know, maybe we can make it run, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I almost grabbed one of my HEI distributors and one of my intakes or my carburetors and brought it down because I was just like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I got a whole bunch of plug wires at the house too, but I don't know. We'll see. We would have to pick up a coil and some plug wires in order to do this, unless there's a coil hiding back there somewhere. But I don't know. Yeah, like I said, if y'all want to see me try and make it run, drop me some comments. Say let's see this thing run, and I'll see if I can't make it run and make a video out of it. But that's pretty much it. I know last week I said I didn't know what I was going to do for content this week, mainly because there's a lot going on and a lot of unknown variables. But you know, hey, I got to work on Big John a little bit. Got to be disappointed by Big John a little bit, and I got to drive my daily for 6.5 hours last night, which was, you know, it's okay. It's not as comfortable as my 2015 GMC was. That was a very comfortable truck. This one, not so much. But hey, air conditioning, cruise control, and I don't know, 15, 16 miles a gallon. It's a lot better than what Big John has to offer. So, so it wasn't too bad of a trip. But I hope y'all guys enjoyed this content. So if you did, hit that like button down there. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That don't cost nothing. It just helps grow the channel and get it out there for more people to see it. If you want to follow me on social media, that information is listed down in the description. Comments, questions, concerns, drop me a comment. I'll read through them all. And like I said, if you want to see me trying to see if we can't get this guy to fire, drop a comment saying so. And we'll see what we can't do later this week. But yeah, with that, it seems like there's something missing here. Oh yeah. I got a Chris and Dad's shop. Got to remind him of what the important things are. Let's see if we can't fix that real fast. And there we go. Ain't gotta be perfect, folks. Just good enough. We'll see y'all guys next time.